sometimes technology can be just so annoying. Like you get right into a conversation and stuff want to do its
Right?
own thing. But the Super Bowl's this week. Now, I gotta ask you this. Are you excited for it?
I am excited.
Wow.
I just discovered Jalen Hurts.
Kid, you see, you thirsting, don't even know his name. You got there thirsting over that man.
Because I'm not into football, so I have to just make sure who I'm talking about. But I'm 90%, I'm 90% sure that's his name. I'm about to Google it real quick.
That's his name. You ain't got Google.
Okay. So I discovered
keep his algorithm out your computer.
No, but they've been talking about some two black quarterbacks, which put him on my radar. And I just never saw Patrick Mahomes as a black quarterback.
Oh, we getting uncomfortable conversations right here. Spicy.
I don't want to go too much into it, but when I think black quarterback, I think, was Lamar Jackson a quarterback? Is he a quarterback?
Yes. So that. My favorite quarterback.
Yes, absolutely. Now that's a black quarterback. But I had the Eagles, so thirst aside, I had the Eagles in my football pool with my dad. So I already made money. And then if the Eagles end up winning, then I'm going to have even more money. And I'm so over the Chiefs.
Talk about it.
And we got Kendrick Lamar performing finally after fucking sweeping the Grammys.
Yeah. I can't even. I was trying to act like the jealous boyfriend. You wasn't buying.
That's not you. You
out there thirsting over. Look, you thirsting over Jalen Hurts. Now, I'm not going to be sending you Jalen Hurts pictures. But meanwhile, in the WWE spaces, we got Natalya showing off her boobs.
She was like, her WWE 2K25, she was like, I am way bustier than that. And she, and it's funny because when I saw the clip of her in the game, I was like, wow, they really
got her boobs right.
Like, wow, they put a lot up there for her. And then she tweeted that they were, and then she started posting, proof that they were not bustier. And I enjoyed the photos. Like Natty, let her know what's up.
No, I thought that was hilarious though. I'm like, yo, what in the world? Okay.
That's such a wild thing to be concerned about.
Natty going nat. That's all I'll say. You know what? Let's roll the intro, and then we got a lot to talk about this week.
Yes. Welcome back to 6HM.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 6HM, the show that we don't have a title for. And I think that's we probably keep it that way until something just grabs us. But we have the Super Bowl coming up this week. Kendrick Lamar's performing. One thing I found interesting, Lil Wayne said he will not be there. Did you see that?
I did not see that. I saw his album announcement, but I did not see that.
That's what came first. And then he was like, I'm busy working on something. I literally just saw the album announcement, the Carter 6. Is that right? Yeah, Carter 6. Yes. And he said that, do not disturb until that date. So one thing about Wayne, we know he got to go back and listen to all his old stuff because he says so much and he has so many lyrics. And I remember hearing that one time where he said it takes him about 3 or 4 weeks before he can, because he don't want to repeat himself. And he's like one of the most illest rappers out there.
He really is one of the best. I didn't appreciate that at the time when I should have, but he's definitely one of the best rappers, like top 5 for sure.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. We grew up around the time when Cash Money was at the hottest. Now, I know you're a New Yorker, so the Deep South probably was below you.
Not below me. I love my Southern music, but I'm not familiar with all of it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, neither am I. But the Cash Money's.
But you're from the South.
I'm from the most northern Southern state. But I'm not from the Deep South. SOUF. I'm not from where Ludacris and T.I. is, extra-briticated and all the other words that T.I. be making up. But I have to ask you this.
What's up?
When the Cash Money Millionaires came out and the Hot Boys was out, did you think Wayne was going to be the biggest star of all time? as far as that group is concerned.
Oh my God, no. Well, I always looked forward to his verses because he was always like the young one. So like I was like 9, 10, 11, 12 when they were out. So I instantly related to him. But no, I didn't. And also just to go with what you were hinting at before, at one point it was all about New York hip hop. So you didn't really like, you knew the South had some bangers, especially like when they play them at the clubs and stuff like that or parties, but you didn't think one of them would become one of the GOATs. And Lil Wayne he was in a faction and then he became a single star.
Yeah.
One of the best ever that I'm sure a lot of people probably, what's his name? Birdman is probably the only one that knew like that's he gonna be it one day kind of thing. And can I go back to something real quick?
Let's go.
Just like with the wrestling references, and I know a lot of wrestling fans watch our show, but I feel like this is another one of those things with like Jordan Grace posting her ticket to her mother's 50th. As I'm not gonna be there because who knows? I mean, I don't see him being there because I don't think him and Kendrick even like fit in the same music. Like, I don't know, it feels like totally different vibes for some reason, especially also Kendrick just swept the Grammys with a diss song on Drake and the history there, so I think that would be a little weird. And then with the whole discourse with New Orleans, like I'm pretty sure I can see him now that I'm talking through it, that him, like especially if he wants to focus on his new album, kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna give that some space and not marinate. So who knows if he'll pop up or not. That's the best thing now, because it's like I kind of forgot about him being there, and then he posted that, and I'm also excited for the album. So,
well, that kind of segue us into the next part where Kendrick clean sweep at the Grammys.
DJ Mustard had the broom ready.
Is there like Drake?
What is it? The braids?
Oh my goodness! I'm like, I've never seen a diss song go that commercial.
Same.
And to a Grammy, like we know it, they don't just hand them things out. We got somebody else we're gonna talk about in a very few short seconds, but they don't just hand it out. And for him, because to me, the way I see it, that's like crossover. That's all music. So everybody's watching the Grammy. So everybody heard this song and heard all of these things against Drake. And what could Drake do? Like, what could he do to come back? Should he just go back and act?
Well, he is releasing, or maybe released it already, but he is doing a collaboration album with Party Next Door. Something about love songs. So it looks like he's going back to his bag, which is the sappy love song kind of vibe.
Yes.
And the thing about Drake is the album is probably going to be great because those are the kind of songs that he's good at making. And then right now he's kind of like heartbroken kind of too, because you had the entire music industry yelling A minor at the Grammys while Kendrick literally swept, and was nominated for so many categories at that music video, rap, song of the year, like so many different categories, and he won in all of them. So Drake, we talked about it before. I think honestly, there's not a lot he can do for his image, but at the end of the day, he'll always be Drake. So keep making. If I was him, I would say just make music and tour around the world and just live your best life. Like you're not going to be the guy anymore. Like you're just not. Like it's sad. Like, and he did it to himself because he could have just been the guy that lost a rap battle, but then you sue and you do all this extra shit, and then now you're just corny, and it proves what Kendrick was saying, like you're not about the culture, because no rapper is gonna sue someone that they're in a rap battle or beef with.
That's the equivalent
if you're going song for song. Exactly. So he's done in as far as defining pop culture and what like is the cool shit now, because remember, being associated with Drake was lit at one point. Kind of not the case anymore.
Kind of not the case anymore, but let's talk about
somebody congratulations to Kendrick.
Oh yeah, definitely. Incredible year. They capped off. He get to be, he's headlining the Super Bowl, which is huge. Taking place this Sunday, depending on when you're listening. I'm gonna watch. I'm salty a little bit, the full transparency. It's Thursday before the Super Bowl. The awards are on, and the NFL awards, and Lamar Jackson better be walking away with that MVP.
Ooh, I hope so.
And if he's not, I'll really be salty because it'd be his third one. A guy who they said couldn't play quarterback.
Wow.
They wanted him to become a running back, babe. They said, because
I already know that the quarterback is just a cool, like the main thing, right?
It's the Roman Reigns of the field. It's the leader. But that was the thing. Black men wasn't smart enough. We had started watching the black quarterback. I mean, we got so many shows. Another one we'll talk about soon. But we watched so many documentaries and shows. So, but that's interesting. But speaking of Grammys, she finally won the big one. The greatest of all time. And boy, oh boy, you got a chance to thirst over Jalen Hurts. and so, and I'm a tag in because I've been thirsting over Beyonce since I was in my teenage. I told you I had a poster her on my wall.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, all of Destiny's Child, to be honest with you, because all of them were beautiful.
It was all baddies.
Women. Yes.
I love Destiny's Child.
All right. Baddies. I gotta admit, I don't think Michelle was a baddie.
She's beautiful.
That's the word. But
them as a package, you can hang as a poster on your wall,
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, baddie feels like a diva, right? Like you got beautiful women, but then you have a diva, and diva's a female version of a hustler. I didn't feel like that was Michelle. Am I wrong? Like, I just no sex appeal, and it's nothing wrong with it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And Michelle is going to be Michelle. She's what she was in the group. And that's what we're going to say because she doesn't give the same sex appeal as like Kelly. Like Kelly is just like chocolate. I wish I appreciated that more when I was younger.
Oh, I did.
But
my sisters made sure I appreciate it. But there was the BET Awards that I watched quite a few times, and I was jealous. And
with
that's
the brown dress.
Oh yes, yes. That's when the BET Awards was so
lit like a tit.
We used to record them, and shout out to my sister and my aunt Megan and Taisha. One of them would record them, and we would like watch it over and over throughout the whole week, at least for 2 weeks. But Beyonce, this would have been one of those Grammy Awards we would have recorded just to watch her have that moment.
Yes,
definitely. Over and over again. Because we didn't have social media. We didn't have YouTube
That's
to
true.
go back
you
and
just had to
it.
rewatch it when it came out. And I actually watched the Grammys a little bit more than I usually do last year. And I think a lot of people said the same. Front to back, I think it was really good. A lot of women won awards in the major categories, so that was really cool. One of my favorite songs won "Die with a Smile" and Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. Oh my god!
I'm so glad I put you on to that.
I'm the one that put you on to music. That. You put me on to I put you on to everything. So, just kidding. TV shows.
Yeah, of course. Well, shout out and huge congratulations to Beyonce.
Yes,
what kid
we
she
love
did.
you. Finally, album of the year.
Let's stick with the Grammys real quick because I'm ready for a Queen PR rant.
What's up?
Yeah, go do that.
Oh my god, so disappointing. And it just goes to show you, and I've learned as well with a lot of lists that have come out recently where there's a lot of younger people now in these journalism roles and doing red carpet stuff because they might have a lot of followers or whatever, but they don't know the craft of interviewing people because the rudeness, it's Babyface, one of the most legendary people in music, and a lot of people brought that up, and that's absolutely accurate. That was very disrespectful to such a legend, and I think he handled it well. And Go Do That is going to be my line. Yes. But just the rudeness in general, when you're doing this and you're interviewing people and to really call someone else over is so rude. no apology. Like I had to apologize at this point. But I would want to see her lose her job. Like I just feel like, and when I say lose your job, meaning this isn't for you yet because you're like on live. You know, I think it was a live stream, maybe live television, and you were caught, you know, behaving in such a rude way as someone that represents AP, babe. That's not like Rinky Dink podcast. Like this is AP that was doing a live stream of red carpet interviews. And it just also proves like you think this person is more important than this person really. And you know, and I don't want her to necessarily lose her job, but I think it needs to be scaled back to a bit where this platform is not for you yet. Like maybe you need a little bit more, you know, training and just like, you know, I think people forget the peopling of it. People want to go viral so much. They want to talk to the viral celebrity so much. Like they don't have like any discipline or like decorum about themselves.
I was listening to Higher Learners. Yeah, I was listening to Higher Learners. Shout out to Van and Rachel. And Van said, you know, that moment could have been bigger on a different level where Chapel, the person who I had never heard of until that day, but that's normal for me. Chapel was like right there. And, you know, there's a producer who could have flagged Chapel down and could have said, hey, come here. And they could have intertwined the conversation. Hey, baby,
blended
Babyface,
the generations.
Yes, you know, said, you know, finish it up with Babyface. They said, well, you know, Chapel, such and such, bring it together. Okay, thank you, Babyface. You know,
great point.
And boom. But like you said, it's that. First of all, what got me was the moment before that when she's standing up there dancing and all this other stuff, and Babyface is right there talking. Now, you know, when we was in school or we was taking journalism classes or you would have been screamed at to the high heavens by your mentor, your manager, your classmates. You know, but in that moment, I was like, wait, why is she sitting? She looked like someone who found their way and somebody owed a favor to let her go to the Grammys, red carpet.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, and it was ridiculous. But as always, Black people make lemonade out of lemons. And like you said, now we got a new meme. I mean, we got a new saying that's going to carry us through 2025.
Yo, he handled that so well because I don't know if I would have. I would have been like, oh, really? Okay. But again, he's Babyface. Like, who are these random people?
Oh, man. Let's just a couple more quick things before we get out of here. Netflix, we just came out of the rabbit hole of O.J. Simpson this past summer. Good. You and I, we decided to binge watch O.J. Made in America. We also binge watched The People vs. O.J. Simpson. And we each probably read a collective of 6 to 7 books about this. And you know, I say 6 to 7, but we also, it's like 2 or 3 of them we both read. Going into this, we said, all right, we said this on the last episode, man, what else can they tell us? We know everything there is about this case. What was the most surprising thing, the biggest takeaway you had from this?
That's a great question. I think the amount of evidence that didn't make it into the trial.
Yes.
And the witnesses that they were not, that because you watch the show and you hear it kind of touched on vaguely, like, oh, there were witnesses that were getting paid for interviews that we didn't get to interview. But then when you hear from those witnesses of the testimony they could have given, it's like, oh my God, the amount of evidence, like including these witnesses, was insane that even made it in the trial. Like it was that I think was the biggest takeaway. And hearing from people that we don't hear from, Darden didn't do interviews about this. I'm pretty sure he never wanted to talk about that shit ever again. So hearing his perspective was good. Marsha Clark wasn't in it. A few people that usually were in it were not. And then there were a lot of new voices and perspectives. And it was very well produced, very dramatic, but like I really liked the format of it. But yeah, that was crazy. The evidence really was like overwhelming, like crazy.
And I'm wondering, I'm like, I didn't even hear about that much evidence in the books. We didn't see that much evidence in, like, we knew some things wasn't there, but some of the stuff, and Carl Douglas, especially when he was like an EDTA, and so learning
He's
about
so entertaining.
It made me believe that. Well, I do believe OJ did it. Mm-hmm. I do believe that there was a little bit of extra foolishness going, a little bit of extra shenanigans. I feel like
as far as police conduct.
Yeah, like when they talked about like some of the blood that was on the fence that didn't show up before, and I was like, yeah, because I kept waiting. Somebody fell asleep, so we watched that part over and over again, and I'm like, wait, how is that possible? Like, it's not going to like seep through and disappear and then pop up. So I could have saw like I'm gonna throw a little bit of extra, make sure we got him. So that part made me think, but overall, my biggest, it was, and maybe because we was in the rabbit hole, so we was kind of sensitive to it. But on my timeline, I saw a lot of people talking about, wow, they just showing the bodies, and
it was a lot.
Yeah, they showed it more here than anything else. Before it was like they showed it to you maybe like
little
once or
brief,
twice. Yeah, this one it was like the first 10 minutes you just like there, and I remember asking, I'm like, well, why? They really left the bodies out like for so long.
Or Nicole.
Mm-hmm. And it's so sad because it's one of the, not a lot of deaths are preventable. This was one of them ones. Like, y'all could have prevented this one.
Absolutely. The system 100% failed her as a woman and a domestic violence victim. Because the history of abuse, that was the natural escalation, and she did everything right to get her out of the situation, and she still ended up the worst case scenario of a situation like that, and that's heartbreaking, and scary. And scary. And I also felt for the sister of
Ron
Goldman. Yeah. And she starts this off like she hates talking about it, she hates doing documentaries about it and all this stuff, but she knows that if she's not in it, her brother is going to basically be the afterthought of this entire case. But he's just as important in this tragedy as Nicole Brown Simpson. He was an innocent victim, and that really touched me. But it was I'm still so fascinated by the entire thing, even to this day, and it's so wild. Like that, it's all of what's like bad about America. Like, because I remember when this done came out, OJ Simpson fucking pod. But when I watched Made in America, I was like, why did they title it that? But the way they broke it up, like this really is like a snapshot of like almost everything that's wrong with America, even to this day, and it ages well, because the like celebrity, how stupid it gets, and like how dumb it gets, and like how it gets in the way of everything, and it's like that's kind of like the world we live in now. Race is an understatement. The legal system, domestic, like it's so many thing, representation, like because OJ Simpson wasn't for us, and then he it's fascinating.
No, it's definitely fascinating. One thing I came across today, and I got to get your opinion on this. Do you know who's considering running for president?
Who?
Somebody who has a great story, somebody I'm fascinated by their career, who just happened to be from Hollis, Queens, New York. And the only reason why
president? Hollis, Queens?
Yeah, that's the right way to say it, right?
Yeah. Is he an athlete?
No, but you're close.
Hollis, Queens.
He's on TV every day.
On TV every day. Are you gonna say Stephen A. Smith? Bruh.
I think he's always talked about wanting to get into politics, but I always believed it to be from the commentary
he's a good
side.
mouthpiece.
Yeah. And he's always said that too, that he wanted to be a manager. He wanted to be against like Paul Heyman. And so I always believed like, okay, you know what? Maybe he want to do it from the, like getting into politics, being a political commentator. We see him on Fox News, CNN, all that. But you know, he talked about he would consider it. You know, I think it's now become a gimmick. Like, all right, let's see what the water is.
So sad and so scary.
Talk about it. You know,
this is like unbelievable to me.
Yeah. It's very interesting, you know. So I thought that was funny. It was one of you.
That is so funny. That's and as I'm like, wait, okay, yep. Of course he does.
Well, I definitely want to. I want to close the show out on a positive note, a fun note. WNBA, the free agency.
Oh my God! I heard Sid Colson got traded.
Yeah.
Where?
Or would hold on, let me as I look it up. But so not actually traded, just to be, you know, people not traded. She elected in free agency to sign. Can you take a guess where she's going?
Connecticut?
Close, but no. I think everybody got out of Connecticut because even one of the stars is like, I'm requesting a trade.
Oh, wow. One of the new teams?
Not even a new team, but they have a new player. Marina Mabry, that's her name. She requested a trade, but they coming. They are coming. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if everybody ready for it, but it might be best for business, brother. The Indiana Fever.
Is that Caitlin Clark's team?
Yep.
Damn.
And that's the thing, right? They have that pitch in free agency. Come play with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin, not only is she a baller, but she also, you know, she gets her teammates involved. So, I'm sorry, babe. They coming for the Liberty.
Chill. Like, let's wait till the season starts. Can we get through Unrivaled before we come for my champions, please?
Well, that's the thing. When you're on top, you know how it is. We you know, everybody wanted a piece of the tribal chief. You know,
anytime.
But I'm excited because my Los Angeles Sparks. I mean, look. First of all,
was today the deadline?
No, well, today was the NBA deadline. You're right.
NBA and deadline. Okay.
Yeah. That's been, man, being a Los Angeles basketball fan has been fun. Thank you, Space Jam, because they was the team that walked out that said, no, we're not doing this. And that's when I said, okay, Michael Jordan's not going to play forever. And I was rocking with the Orlando Magic too, but I was like, oh, I like them, the Lakers. And Shaq went there, Kobe went there, the rest is history. I never wavered, even during the bad years. But, you know, because I was a Lakers fan, I became a Sparks fan. Shout out to Lisa Leslie. But we got Kelsey Plum, who's going to play with Cameron Brink. Cameron's like, she's excited because she needed a point guard. So I'm so excited.
This could be a fun season. I'm excited for it. I'm still always going to be a Liberty girl.
Oh, of course. And I'm going to still root for them because I would love this. Sure. I don't know if we'll be championship ready next year, but until then, y'all keep winning it. You know, I want to see you happy, and then, you know, we can take the torch.
I love that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Ellie, who responded to my comment saying she misses me too. Bookie.
That's your peoples. That's my
peoples.
But I definitely want to go to we got to hit up some Mystics games because we probably get them for cheap.
Nice.
You know, we could do the WNBA tour the way we want to do the
MLB
tour.
I love that. Oh my God, I would love that.
And then Unrivaled. You brought up Unrivaled. My Owls, you know, undefeated.
Yes, they are.
I've been really enjoying this though.
Me too. Like, I love it.
I was shout out to Sarah Sohi, the host of the WNBA show in The Ringer. I was telling her, I said, for you and I, it's appointment viewing television. We sit there, we watch the games, and especially that third quarter. And you remember we went to get something to eat, and it was like that fourth quarter flew by. So do you have any hope in the Mist? They figured out how to win games.
They won one game.
It's just one? I thought they won 2.
I think it's just one. Hopefully it's 2. Honestly, the Miss is my team because I love Breonna Stewart. But if there was a team that I could say I'm actually really truly rooting for, it would be Vinyl.
Oh, okay.
I think because they're the underdog. Like any of the most of the lists and stuff that I would see online before the season started, where people were like, ranking them and stuff, and as the season was going, Vinyl was never at the top, and they actually have a pretty decent record, if I'm not mistaken, and they are exciting to watch. And Teresa Witherspoon is their coach, so I love their jerseys, and so that's my real team, to be honest.
Well, they 2-4 at the moment. They went up 2-0 and then they lost 4 straight. So
damn,
they could turn around.
I'm still rooting for you. Okay, the Miss won 2 games.
Yeah, so it's okay. The standings. The Owls are 6-0. The Laces are 4-2. Everybody else is 2-4.
Okay. But
then this 1-on-1 tournament though,
that is exciting.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? Now, I don't want to go through the whole list, but is there obviously Stewie's going to play Aaliyah Edwards in the first round. My girl Skylar is going to play my girl De'Erica Hembry. So my favorite player versus one of my players in the Sparks.
Nice.
So this is going to be interesting. I'm excited to see Courtney Williams versus Tiffany Hayes.
Ooh.
Because of Courtney's game, it feels like one-on-one-ish.
So, absolutely.
Are you just going to really sit back and just enjoy it, or are you going Stewie?
I think I'm going to by default, I'm always going to root for Stewie. And Sabrina. By default.
Sabrina's not in it, unfortunately.
Oh, she's not in it? Okay. Nah. So I'm going to root for Stewie, and honestly, I'm just excited to see, also as a new basketball fan, and I think that's the thing too that shouldn't be under appreciated, is the amount of people that women's basketball has brought to the sport of basketball. Because I came from, my parents were probably the biggest Knicks fan even to this day that I've ever met in my life. And my dad and my parents watched basketball, and every single basketball game, every single football game. So I am just now getting into basketball though. I never was invested in watching any games until I became a fan of the New York Liberty and the WNBA. And now that came to Unrivaled, but then now I'm seeing basketball played in such a fun way. I'm seeing these 3-on-3 tournaments with the Unrivaled, with the fourth quarter being what do they call it, point game or whatever. That new style of play is exciting for me as a new basketball fan. And then now this one-on-one, I've never seen anything like that, especially with women. And now I'm learning more of their names now. The WNBA is going to be cool because now I know more players. Because I would only watch Liberty games, if they were playing, especially towards the end of the season and postseason. But now I think because I know so many different players now, that I'm I look them up now on Unrivaled. Where do they play? And I might end up watching more WNBA games, and we're gonna go to so many games. So it's exciting.
It's interesting you say that, because it took me back to my first time I became a fan of baseball. It started with me just watching Oriole games in 95, 96. I got locked in, and then baseball cards helped. So I was able to learn the players. I don't know if I ever showed you my baseball card collection, but shout out to my grandmother, and I've been hooked ever since. But I'll say this as I get ready to close out this segment and close out the show. Shout out to the women for not being afraid. Because we fantasy book in NBA these one-on-one tournaments, who will win this, and they'll play one-on-one behind the scenes or in practice, all-star practices, but it's never televised. So I would like to see the men play one-on-one with each other. Don't be scared. Play the one-on-one basketball. Let's see. Let's see who's the best of the best. You know what I mean? So this is very exciting. And I'm excited about it. Any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Rest in peace to Irv Gotti, who sadly passed away at 54. And it's so sad because it's not until you lose someone and you realize how dope and important they are. When I listened to the Irv Gotti playlist, shout out to Title, and just listening to so many songs, I was such a part of a great time in hip hop, a great time of my life, a great time in New York. And radio and like that whole culture, like 106 and Park days and all the songs I didn't know he produced, and how he was responsible for like DMX getting put on. He was responsible for so many different like, you know, things that shifted hip hop's direction. And I wish we would have given him more flowers when he was here. I mean, I did, because me and Latrice, my sister, was in Murder Inc. when we was younger. Even in the G Unit days, we liked both of them. We never left Murder Inc. And Irv Gotti was one of those. He was him at one point. So rest in peace. And my heart goes out to all the other hip hop heads out there that feel the loss.
Yeah, I would say that you was the first person that I like known to really like ride for Murder Inc. You know, my sister liked Ja Rule, and I think that's why I didn't at first, because I used to just be annoyed with the song playing over and over again, and then eventually it's like, okay, so this is cool, but you know, I saw a lot of like, oh, Irv this, Irv that, until today, which is unfortunate, you know. So you know, my thing is, like you said, give people their flowers. Sometimes just let bygones be bygones. Right. Let all the petty shit go.
Right.
Well, let's get out of here. Let the people know where they can find you.
Ooh, you can find me at Queen3_PR on all social media. And if you want to talk more pop culture with some wrestling mixed in there, you could join me Monday nights on Those Wrestling Girls podcast, 7 p.m. before Raw. And make sure you subscribe to Those Wrestling Girls podcast on YouTube. And if you want to listen to the flagship show and get all your latest women's wrestling news, you can listen to the show on Revolt Podcast Network.
Listen to it on Revolt. Make sure y'all just drive up those downloads. You can catch me on Ring of Wrestling Worldwide on Tuesdays. You can catch me on the Wrestling Realm on Wednesdays. And you can catch me here every week on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. And more importantly, this show with the best co-host in the world and the most beautiful co-host in the world. But until the next time, folks, do not let anybody get in your way of success. So long, everybody.
Bye.